This is the Astronaut game, and we want to build level 9. To open it, go into my files here, and I've already made a base level for level 9. This is my basic base scene. It has all of the components that you can watch in a different video. We want to make this level 9. First thing we have to do to make it special is ask our friend, hello friend, make us a level 9, please. Blah! The universe has provided. Friend has given us level 9. And it's awesome. So we're going to take our outline and we're going to put it in here. I like to do is change the ordering so that a way it for sure is behind everything, all the assets, but not behind the background, because if it was behind the background then we wouldn't be able to see part of it. So I like to make it -15. Boom. Okay, now everything should be in front. Something else I like to do is hide the death zone because I find it distracting. Now we're going to look at the level 9 and we need to reference it in our tile map and make it the correct scale. I'm going to find the start and line it up. We're gonna hide the start, exit, and player. I have some crosshairs to reference. Now I like to just, when it comes to kind of making these levels, is knowing like when to use what tool, but also like where are those tools. And I've really only been able to figure that out because I get myself stuck. See, like I had the eraser highlighted and that was dumb. Okay, so I know that this box here, this light blue outline is supposed to be 4 wide by 4 up. Okay, our scale is a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna go and dork around with the background by transforming it, changing the scale. If it's a little bit too big at 1, then no, it's not, it's too small. This is what I spend a lot of my time doing, just thinking. Okay, it's too small because the blue lines are inside of the 4 squares. We need to make it a little bit bigger. Let's try 1.1. I think that's close enough for our purposes. Now we're just going to fill everything in. How I do it depends on how I'm feeling. Sometimes I'll do everything all at once. Sometimes I'll just build the screen as I go across. Things are more tedious than others. I guess like in theory, how I would suggest to do it is to just fill absolutely everything in first. That way I have a solid background. So even if it's not the right tile, at least there is a sand colored terrain. There's a lot of Control Z, always pressing Control Z, a shortcut that I use frequently. I've really loved working on this Astronaut game. I've been able to create so much with such little, like limited skills. As I spend more time developing games, which is something I never thought would be a thing that I do, the more I really enjoy the community around it thus far. I guess the community that has kind of been built around the splashy ink. As the splashy ink is slowly growing, I've definitely had a really great time, because it might seem silly that it is, you know, making video games. Coding is a skill in its own. I always feel like I need to spend more time learning how to code. There's a lot of different facets of it, such as like art, which is where a lot of my interest lies, because I love doing art, and I'm more of a traditional, like I like to paint. Probably acrylic paint is one of my favorite mediums. I get to create this really awesome thing with people, friends. It's not even just like me doing it, right? I'm just one part of this project. Here, this one, I'm doing a lot of the coding. I have him who can help me if I get stuck somewhere, which is great. My partner who had the dream, who wanted to do a game jam like last year, kind of got some people together, and here we are. It's been really nice to have him be able to, when I get stuck on some coding, to help to bond and create things together and to learn from each other. It's been nice to do game design and rekindle friendships and make new friendships. Like we were at a Halloween party. It was a great topic because people are always interested in talking about like game design, the ideas around it, because it's entertaining. You get to tell a story, hopefully a good story. The story I'm telling in this space fish game isn't Hollywood quality, but it is a fun story that I have worked pretty stinking hard on, and I will continue to develop, and I've enjoyed watching the story develop. And that's also another factor, is I have so many different interests, and there's so many things that video games just fulfills. In 2018, I wrote a book. I wrote a bad book. I like writing. It wasn't like it was just, I just wanted to write a book. I wanted to publish it. So I did. And I wrote it and I finished it and it was done. And you can read it on the internet. There's a lot of spelling errors. Don't come after me. Public education system. That's what you get. When you're making video games, that's one of the creative things that you can do, is like tell a story. And here, the overall story is my little space fish man. His story is developing and growing. Even with each of these levels, creating the different objects, is part of world building, which for me has been interesting because I'm not very good at coding yet. I can follow a tutorial and build upon it. Right now, mostly I'm doing kind of like retro style games, platformers, and nothing too... I'm still learning. I am super excited about is the next Pirate Software game jam that's coming up. I keep talking with people in our Discord in person about doing this game jam. Sometimes it's so hard because I'm pretty sure there's limited space. You can only have so many people on your team. I want more people and I want different friends' opinions but the team can only be so big. Yeah, we're really looking forward to that game jam. I think the game jams are great because it helps to, give a little bit of exposure. There's so much. You learn so much in a game jam. You get other people who are also learning. Maybe some people are really good at video games, but other people who are there's thousands of people. They're also learning too. They can do something. It kind of opens, at least my eyes. It's oh wow, that's a really cool way to make something feel very satisfying. Keep my attention. Or also having exposure. Sometimes it's so easy to just work in a vacuum, just to make this little thing, and it will be criticized. People are going to play my stupid little game and someone's gonna be unhappy with it. And I expect that because I have limited skills, but it will be done. It will be a thing I have done with people and the experience of doing it with a little community. So the gameplay is the very most important, is what you're doing interesting and satisfying, and you could play it even if the art sucks. Could you play it even if the audio kind of sucks? That's the first thing you need, is the gameplay fun and enjoyable. There's examples of video games that even though, the art quality is amazing and beautiful, I have a hard time continuing to want to play it because I don't have interest in, maybe it doesn't have a strong storyline. That's what I personally like about video games. I like games that have strong storylines. Depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Goals here for Astronaut game are to improve on the tutorial that I learned. Okay, I learned the tutorial and I'm gonna improve on it. And I want to make a handful of levels. And I want to make an intro. Version 1 is not gonna have an outro, but I would like to have an outro at some point of you crash landed on here, and I would like that to be more animated, and then you're there, and then you go on this trek across the planet, and then you find your rocket ship, and then put your rocket ship back together, and you can leave, or something like that. But right now, it's just get your escape pod. Good job, find your rocket ship. Adventure, you won, yay! That's all we have for version 1. What's important right now is getting some playtesting in to make sure that these levels are doable. I need some help with playtesting and making sure things are playable. Okie dokie. Okie dokie? Okie dokie. So I just didn't record adding in all of these cactuses, but that's okay. It's pretty simple. What I like to do is kind of work with one thing at a time. So I just instanced a bunch of wobbly cactus, and I'm going to show you how I do that. It's the same process for these jump pads. Jump pad, I get to decide, is it a trap? Is it an object? It's an object because it doesn't directly cause death. Traps in my game here, they reset your character, then death is had. So a bubble is an object because it doesn't directly kill you. And that's important because of the script that's attached to it. Instance, jump pad, open, and we gotta find where it went. Here it be. And it's literally as easy as that when I'm making the levels now. So now I had that first one, and I'm just gonna press Control D to duplicate it, and I can just fill in all the spots where it should be. Some of these are not quite. We're not looking for perfect here, people. We're gonna have a video game at the end of it here, and it's gonna be fun. That's what we're looking for. And we're just trying to achieve the same feel as what the outline behind is doing. We're gonna try to keep the same feel and same theme of it because that was thought out a lot, and we're gonna do the best we can, the limited skills that I have. So that's all we need right now, is just close. Doesn't have to be perfect because it's not gonna be perfect because I'm making it. But it should be fun. Now we're gonna do another trap. So these ones are our saw blade traps. Okay, trap and then instantiate saw. In the original tutorial that I had, they were different. Saw blade was like a spinning saw blade, just a circular saw blade spinning. I thought it was the same process, but instead of just constantly spinning, I made the cactus, and it goes and just rocks, and it's a wobbly cactus. And then the saw blade was a different trap, and I can't remember the trap. It might have been a back and forth one. They're still based on that very original code, which is why they're limited to this space. And the jump pad was also from the original tutorial. The bubbles and the crunching walls, which are these yellow things, I made after learning some stuff. So much we have completed and putting in all of the saw blades, and now we're gonna do pendulum, which is also causes death, so it will be a trap. The organization here, maybe not so, maybe could be better. If you have thoughts, tell me, because I don't know what I'm doing. They can go 180, and my friend who made this level, I think this is a pretty clever thing, combining the different traps. Try to achieve the same idea here. Have a little bit of a space that you can get onto, and then there's a pendulum and then a jump pad. So that's what we're trying to achieve. This bubble zoop takes you up all the way to the top. Then there's a pendulum on the top. That'll get ya. Currently the pendulums just have like a standard swing. They just swing left and right. Something that I need to kind of work on my animations a little bit more concisely with is the fast and slow, which is great because this is something a different friend told me from my D&D group that he does stop motion stuff. In his stop motion things, he says things kind of go fast and then they go slow and then they kind of go fast and slow. So it'd be like a quick. I kind of did that with the jump pad because he told me that, and the tutorial had kind of a different jump pad animation that kind of reflected that. In the future, improving on the animation here, this would kind of I guess swing fast and stop at the apex of the arc. Right now it just is a consistent, it'll get the job done, but it could be more satisfying. And with that, the pendulums have been completed. Now we have to move on to some of the more harder bits, which are the bubbles and the crushing pads. Alright, take a good quick break to fold a little bit of laundry. There's still more laundry, but I just wanted to give my eyes a break. Alright, low key. I appreciate things in the digital world so much more now because it's so hard. Oh my gosh. Learning about these things, it's so hard. I'm gonna put bubbles in first. Objects, bubble. It is so hard. Bubble. Maybe it's probably easier for other people, and I'm sure it will get, there will always be something to learn. Okay, but I'm low-key and gotta be frank about this. These bubbles are the freaking coolest thing I think I made in this video game. So the first thing I like to do is put a bubble in each of the spaces, and then I'll go back and do the animations per bubble. Just to kind of build off of what I was talking about for the sand tile maps, the terrain tile maps. Just kind of have something in every space, and then clean it up. My style I have been doing, and like I said, low-key, I freaking love this bubble idea. It was brought to my attention by the same friend who made the backgrounds. Outline. Yeah, the outline that I'm following here. And there was a misunderstanding because that's just what happens sometimes with communication. And so his idea was kind of like one idea, but then my brain kind of went wild. This is what ended up happening, and I was so proud of it because I used semi-transparent layer to fill the bubble in, so it's like a different color than just the background, or like it's not just completely like a transparent hole. Okay, I think it's so cool because they have a base animation of like bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. And then now I'm gonna make it move, and this is how I do it, and it's very tedious. These are different heights, which is great. Like, that's just awesome. That's gonna make things more interesting. The saw blades are all the same because that's how I designed them. They have to be the same length, but the bubbles I wanted to be more dynamic. So first thing we do, we go to our bubble. Under that bubble, we're going to add a new node, and that node is animation player. And this is how I do the same thing for the bubble and the crushing walls to make them different. And I am probably doing it the slow way, 100%. So I have my animation player, but this is the sloppy way that I'm gonna do it. So let's have our animation. We're gonna create a new animation. It's gonna say new animation. Baba. I could change the name. I am going to put the default on, that this is the default animation, and then I'm going to loop it because I want it to keep moving up and up and up. Since it's a bubble, I want it to float up, essentially pop, and then a new bubble comes to replace it. It's the same bubble. First, I have to create a new animation. So animation player, I'm clicking that bubble, and then I go to transform, and I key in on the position. Key in. Create it. And it's going to ask me a question and create. And literally, this is like the only way I know how to do this. First thing I like to do is go forward, I don't know, 0.2. I change it up sometimes. And I'm going to copy and paste that so that way it stays at the bottom for like 0.2 of a second. Feel like maybe to get to the top for this first one, I'm gonna make the animation 2.5, 2.5 seconds. Is that what I said? Yes. And then now when it gets to the top, I'm just gonna let it pop all the way. So I need to take this and I need to put me at the end of the animation, which is 2.5 seconds. And then I'm gonna click the bubble and we're gonna go up. I could drag this to the top to where I wanted to stop. But sometimes when I do that, it doesn't go straight up. It goes up and like a couple pixels to the side, which makes this weird sliding animation that I was having for a while. Just to ensure that it works, I just hold the up arrow key. Now we're going to look at it to make sure that it is playing in a loop correctly and how we want it to be. By pressing play, kind of get an idea how fast it goes. Think it's struggling recording at the same time as editing. There we go. It's a little bit slow, but I'm going to stop it, and I like to stop it not on the bubble because then I know I have completed the animation on this bubble. This one is on the original starting point. By the time I've done all of them, they should be off of their original starting point. Poo. See, I already messed up. Now I have to go. It's gonna jump me back. 2.5. Boom. Now it jumped me back. Now I gotta go all the way up again. It's probably an easier way, but this is what is happening right now. For my other, like, traditional artworks, don't look at this. It's not finished. And then even if it was finished, is it good enough for someone to look at it? Or is it my dirty little secret? People, especially I think in our culture, are extremely critical and want things absolutely perfect. And I think perfection can and frequently does kill progress and creativity. Because if everyone is just so afraid that someone's going to be critical of my work, because we are. In this land, in this country, like, we are such jerks and we're not kind about how we give information. And also, maybe you don't need to. Like, definitely if it's being asked for, but like, sometimes it's like, yo, I worked so hard on this thing. Can we just like, I just want to share it and I want to appreciate it together. And that's a hell of a thing to say on the internet. There will be trolls. And I've had a few other gigs that has have exposed me to trolls. I'm not immune to them. Everyone gets their feelings hurt at least sometimes. After a few brush-ins, it's dumb, and then you just appreciate the community engagement. Bubble. Yeah, so like I only have 8 bubbles, and it's probably gonna take me just as long as the 51 cactuses that I put into place. Alright, real life struggles. Okay. My computer just crashed. Okay, I got too ambitious. I was trying to export and record and video game making stuff. I was just trying to do too many things at once and it crashed, and it's a good reminder to save frequently. Because I just redid all the bubbles. I had to hard restart, and I always feel bad about that. Nothing was happening. Okay, so I had to redo the bubbles. Normally, I don't know. Normally, I'm gonna start working on the crushing walls while I talk about this. Crushing walls is our newest addition. They're pretty cool, and they are a trap, and they move just like the bubbles, but they kill ya. Spike wall. I think this one was also misunderstood by myself on what I didn't. I don't know if I understood the assignment when working with my friend. Moved a pendulum somewhere. Pendulum 11. I made the spike crushing wall, but I think it turned out okay. I'm just gonna duplicate some of these and put them. I like to put them under the sand so they come out of nowhere. Well, they come out of right there. My computer just crashed. Normally, I probably would have gotten really angry, stomped around, probably cried. Definitely would have cried. I hate having to redo work that I worked so hard on in the first place. And ready, control save. But that was a lesson. We're taking it as a lesson. Let's do it like this. I don't feel very good today, which is fine. I don't really want to be around people. Because I don't feel good. I don't really want to do much of anything. I don't even really want to watch TV show. Only thing I want to do is game dev for some reason, which is awesome. It's awesome that like I feel like garbage and I just want to make games, and that's where I'm at. And I'm glad that I do want to do something because I don't want to do anything. I feel but we're making games. That's all I want to do. I just want to make games. And I want to make games so much that even though my computer freaking froze and I lost a whole set of recording and I lost like a half an hour of work that I had to redo, I didn't get angry about it. So that's interesting. Something that as a hobby thing, a lot of people struggle with. I want to do my hobby, but I don't have the time to do it. So it just don't get done. 1.5. Okay, so this is something I played with in level 8, and I was trying to interpret what these blocks mean. So it's like from here to here. And I didn't know if I should go up and down, which I'm gonna make some of them do, I think. Something I thought was kind of cool was having it go down, let it sit there for a second. Oh, it's in your way. Some of these ideas that I do, I'm gonna do them differently, so that way my buddy who helps me design these levels, playtests them, save. He can have different ideas. Look at that. It just stays there for a second. And then we're also going to make this particular one have ordering on negative, I think 15. And now we're going to play it again so it comes out of the ceiling and lands there. And I think that looks really cool. I enjoy it. Crush, 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 crush. And I'm going to put it somewhere that I can see it so I know I'd done it. So that's one way we're going to do it. The stomp and stay, I guess. Now this one, I think we're going to switch it up. We can see the different uses, right? So like that's all I've been doing is been taking really simple mechanics and going wild with them. And somehow I've made a video game with it. With help. Plenty of help. And this one, we're gonna go, what is halfway? 1.5, maybe to 1. Does 1 make sense? Let's try 75.75. No, 1. And then we're gonna go to 1.2. Oh, that'll be great. Okay, so then I think I'm just gonna make it to 2 seconds. Okay, let's do the Wampa Wampa. See, different varieties. hide it behind the texture so it comes out of nowhere. Get ya. Save, 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 save. Yeah, I can't really do much with the saw blades, but that's the nice thing about the bubbles and the crushing walls is I can really just mix it up. I'm hoping this one could just be kind of delayed, and I think I'm just gonna make the same ones for all of these ones. Add animation player, create new, black wall, transform. My brain is a little bit tired now. When I reset, some things reset, but not all of the things reset. You can have a slightly different run through each time. Be safe. Okay, I finished the crushing walls, so that would be everything. And now we're going to see if my computer crashes when I try to play. It's actually quite a bit harder than when I don't have the guide in the background because I don't know precisely where things are going to end up. And this isn't necessarily that it's this hard. This might also just be that I'm bad at video games. Ooh, 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 ooh. That was dumb. This is officially a game, and I'm gonna get ready to post it on itch. It's gonna be fun. I need feedback. I need playtesters. If you're the person who's watching this and you made the level outline, I'm so excited for you to be able to play the levels that you created. I can't wait to see what happens. Check out our itch and other videos. Bye.